Welcome everyone to the Outtakes Movie Podcast. That was very circusy of me. Let's roll with it. Of course, I'm always joined on my quest to go through every single movie of all time and rank them best to worst by my elite crew. Welcome, Amelia, the princess of post-production.
What's up?
The clown prince of comedy, Joe.
Yo.
Jacob.
Oh no, I dabbed. Oh no! Ah!
I'm here too.
I instantly regret that. Yeah, sorry.
It's okay, you're not as weird as
no
Joe.
going back.
And I,
sorry.
once again, am just some mug who spent way too much money on a film degree and want to give it out for free over the course of many episodes of Ridiculous Nonsense. Today's Ridiculous Nonsense is Monsters, Inc. Whoa! I don't have
Whoa,
a
what is that? Oh my gosh.
What a gem.
Throwback.
Jacob, tell us
Yes.
about Monsters, Inc.
So, yeah, Monsters, Inc. is a Pixar movie, believe it or not. Directed by Pete Docter, who was the first director to make a Pixar movie after John Lasseter. So he had a fair amount riding on him. Lasseter had obviously done Toy Story 2, and Bug's Life. So this is the fourth one.
Mm-hmm.
Also the first Pixar movie to come out in the 21st century.
Mad.
If you're into those sort of facts.
Was it 2001?
Yeah,
2001,
Oh
November.
my god.
This is
think.
how much
Wow.
it dates it. Is they used to do this thing. They used to do, if you believe this, movie studios used to be friends with each other and not horrible
What?
bitter enemies.
I don't believe you.
So
That's a lie.
there was Monsters Inc. trailers scheduled to go out before a showing of like Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone,
I heard about this.
and they were animated. They were exclusively animated, and it's Sully and Mike playing charades, and Mike is trying to get Sully to realise that he's talking about Harry Potter, or like vice versa, one or the others.
Oh, I've not
So then
seen
at the very
that.
end it would say, oh, Monsters Inc.'s playing just next door if you want to go see something else after Harry Potter, but enjoy Harry Potter, sort of thing. And they did the same
Oh,
thing
that's
for like
cute.
Star Wars. No, that was it, is a teaser for Attack of the Clones. Like the very first teaser ever was going to be shown before Monsters Inc. And some fans allegedly bought tickets to see the movie just to see that teaser, and then left once it had played.
I heard about that. Yeah.
Yep.
Pixar
I
fans,
also
love it.
I had that written down on my list of fun facts for later. But yeah, because so many Star Wars fans went, it meant that I don't know how much of an effect it had on the box office. But does anyone, if you haven't already found out what it is, anyone want to take a guess at what?
Ooh.
The box
Ooh,
office
okay, I
was
don't know,
for
so
this?
yeah.
I always get this wrong.
I'm going to guess it's quite high.
Yeah.
If I tell you the budget, do you want to take a guess off there?
Yeah, go
yeah,
for
go on.
budget first.
Okay, so the budget was $115 million.
Okay. I'm going to guess it made probably at 190, maybe 200 million.
Okay.
Is
I
this,
was
the
gonna
opening
say, like,
weekend?
No, just the
Oh,
overall.
This is overall
The
box
overall.
office.
Ooh.
Yeah, go on.
Well, I don't know.
I was going to say like 350, but that seems ridiculously high now.
Joe?
We'll go for it, why not? Yeah, I'll be optimistic.
I'd say probably. I'm kind of. I'm thinking the same as Sam actually, like 200, 190, 200. Thinking. But actually, no, I'm gonna go 250, so it's like a middle ground. There you go.
Okay. You're all a little bit off. The actual box office was $577.4 million,
Impressive.
which is pretty good going. This was Doctor's directorial debut as well.
Wow.
Another fun fact.
What the hell? Excuse me?
Yeah, so America got it November 2001, so just after Halloween, which is kind of in with our theme, I suppose. Quite spooky
Yeah.
season.
Spoopy.
But ironically, we didn't get it here in the UK till February 2002,
Oh, wow.
which
Wow.
is way later.
This
That's
has
a
happened
lot
lot
later.
with like Disney stuff.
Yeah.
Like I remember, I think it was Wreck-It Ralph that came out here like 6 or 7 months after the US release, and I remember getting
Really?
pissed about that. Yeah.
Wow. See, I remember this being like a big thing. No, like I remember when I was younger, it was always like, oh, it comes out in America first, and like when we used to go to America, we used to be like, oh, what's in the cinema now that we can see before everyone else? And there was something, we went to watch something in the cinema, and it was like a big thing. It was like one of the Pirates of the Caribbean or something. And we went to watch it first. I mean, it might not have been that, but we went to watch it first, and I came home and I was like, "Oh yeah, I've seen it, yeah." And everyone was. This was in like primary as well, so I was on the playground, and I was like, "Oh man, I've seen it. It's well done." And everyone was like, "Oh man, he's a prophet." Like,
I mean, it is funny.
So.
It is really funny the hissy fit that America throws still today when we get Marvel movies like 2 weeks before they do.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah.
But yeah, originally I had written down here, I was going to ask who had seen this before we were doing this podcast.
Oh,
but
yeah,
I realised everyone's seen this movie.
Everyone.
So when was the last time you watched it?
A long time ago.
Yeah,
I would
before
have been
this
in
week, a
primary
long
school.
time ago.
Yeah, same for me.
Honestly, I've probably seen this in the past year, just because, like, like they do like on Sky. Like, I don't know if you guys like have like Sky Movies or whatever, but they have like Sky. Like every once in a while they have like a channel where it's like Sky Star Wars or Sky Pixar or something like that.
No, I
So I'll just be at home. This was like back when I was at home. I'd be at home and it would come on. It'd be like, "Oh, Monsters Inc." I'd be like, "Yeah, go on. I'll watch some Monsters Inc." and I'll have it on. So I'd say the last time I watched it was probably like a year ago or something. Roughly. I remembered it really well, is my point, before even watching it. So I knew that it must have been like fresh in my mind.
Do you know what? I must have seen it pretty recently then, because we went to go and see Monsters University in the cinema. So I must have gone, we'll watch the first one before that. So maybe I've seen it a bit more recently than I'm thinking as well.
Enough.
I totally forgot Monsters University was a thing.
I've still not seen it.
Yeah.
It's okay. It's quite
I
good.
recommend it. It is
Exactly,
nice.
Yeah.
It does mess with the continuity a bit. Because there's a bit of a throwaway line where they're walking down the street on the way to work, and Mike says something to Sully about how he's been jealous of his looks since the 4th grade. But they met at uni.
Oh, yeah.
But hey,
yeah.
doesn't
I
really
forgot
matter.
that.
Someone's not done their research there.
What if they actually did go to school like ages and ages and ages, but like Sully was the cool kid and Mike was the loser kid, and Sully just never remembered seeing him.
Maybe.
That's possible.
And
a bit
then
more sad.
Mike
Hey,
didn't want to
Disney.
admit to it. So
Not Disney, Pixar.
But yeah, so because I'm pretty sure same for me. Last time I watched this was years ago. So when I'm watching it again now, I picked up on so many more things. So yeah, we start off. We're in the kid's bedroom with the guy, and it turns out his name is Mr. Bile, and he says that his friends call him Phlegm. I like that. Nice little bit of gross puns there. And then we just get a bit of a general introduction as to what the universe is, how it works, and apparently on the news and all the newspapers and things, there's a bit of an energy shortage and there's a crisis. I never realised that was a part of the plot, that there was a crisis, and they're going to have rolling blackouts and stuff like that. But yeah, apparently that's a thing. They walk to work, and then we uncover that they very quickly get to explaining that all the monsters are terrified of children, blah blah blah. We get the classic 2319 bit. Good old
Yeah.
George
Great
something.
scene.
George
So-
was originally the main character.
I knew this too.
Yes.
When they were making it and putting it together, there were so many different iterations of how the character was going to work, and originally they were potentially going to have someone who was like down on their luck, was just crap at scaring, was just total trash. I think at one point it was going to be a janitor.
Yeah.
One point it was going to be called Johnson. One point it was going to have tentacles, and most of what they changed was because it's an animated film. It all got changed due to the limitations, which I'll come to that a little bit later on, because Sully is hairy. He's covered in fur, which makes it pretty interesting as to some of the technology that they had to develop just in order to make this film possible. Does anyone want to take a guess as to how many hairs they had to animate for Sully?
I read it, so
I
I'm going to stay
remember.
quiet. Yeah.
It's
something
rather than an exact
ridiculous.
figure. Do you want to give me like a ballpark figure?
I'm gonna say like, I don't know, like 500,000. Is that seems ridiculous.
Yeah, I can't really
Higher.
remember.
It is higher.
Wow,
1.2
seriously.
million.
The figure I got was like over 2.3 million.
Yeah.
Oh wow. Okay, yeah, I knew it was a lot, but whoa.
What, individually in it?
Yeah,
Not,
individual
like,
hairs.
patches?
Individual hairs.
Oh.
They had to develop a new bit of code to animate all the hairs and the shading and everything, and then they used something similar to like animate Boo's shirt. So that when it folded and creased, it didn't like fold through itself, which is interesting.
Pixar have done so much for animation when you think about it. Like honestly,
it's crazy as well because, and I'm sure you got this too, Jacob. So I'm sorry for stealing it from you, but
go for it.
All the scenes with Sully would take about 11 to 12 hours per frame to render.
Oh, God.
Crazy,
because of the amount
disgusting.
of hair. And he's the main character, so he's in the most of the scenes. I think that's mad. It's one of these. I was saying to you, Jacob, the other day that I was impressed about how well this movie holds up in terms of visuals. All of the models are pretty much on point. There's like a couple of like hairs on Sully that I'd say like aren't anti-aliased properly and look a little bit too jaggy. But the problem visually to me is the lighting, not the models. Like if they were just lit better,
I agree with that.
They'd be perfect.
Yeah,
sure. I mean, one of the biggest, like the reason when Toy Story 4 came out, people were doing comparisons between how the cat in Toy Story 4 looks compared to like Sid's dog in Toy Story.
Oh yeah, I saw them.
The difference is mind-blowing.
It's gone from being so clunky, hasn't it? Like this film still has a clunky element to it.
Yeah.
But like you say, you don't even notice because like it just still is such an amazing film. Like the writing holds up.
Mm-hmm. I always find like when you're watching Toy Story 1, when you watch clips from Toy Story 1 next to Toy Story 4, you can like see this like makes Toy Story 1 look just bad. Well, not bad, but you know what I mean, like compared.
Dated, yeah.
But then
Visually,
dated, that's the But then when you watch Toy Story 1, just watching it, it actually doesn't even look that bad. I don't think.
I think it's similar with this.
Like, yeah, like you know that obviously it's not as good as it is now because it's older, but like it's not terrible, is it? Like you're watching it, it's like, it's alright. It's like pretty amazing what they've like been able to do.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But yeah, so some of the casting wise, before we get too much further, we have John Goodman as Sully, Billy Crystal as Mike.
I love Billy Crystal. Him as Mike, honestly.
I can't. Whenever I hear his voice, all I think is Mike.
Yeah.
Where it came
That's
from
just
must have helped me.
Yeah.
I love him.
Yeah, John Goodman has done lots of stuff.
I love John Goodman.
You already know.
Yeah,
I didn't know. He was in Transformers: The Last Night.
He was. I have a figure of him. Hang on. Let me go and get.
Wait,
John
hang on.
Goodman.
Of John Goodman or the I'm guessing it's the Transformer.
Probably the Transformer.
That's
His
gonna be
name is
Transformer.
Hound, and I was like, I have no idea who Hound is, but Hound is a Transformer apparently.
Hound. I thought you said Howard.
And it's this
no,
one.
Howard is his character from.
No, Hound, like a dog.
Hound. Where, there's
Hound.
the camera. I'm going to show the main camera so you guys can't see him. But there's robot John Goodman with his beard.
Whoa.
Oh wow!
Wow, what a sexy boy.
Yeah.
Interestingly, there was another actor who was in Monsters Inc. who was also in Transformers Last Night. It was Steve Buscemi, who plays
Buscemi.
Randall.
Oh my gosh! I forget
Wait,
Steve
who's-
Buscemi's Randall.
I don't have a figure of him.
Oh my god, he is, isn't he?
Yeah.
Oh, no, I
My
forgot.
first introduction to live action Steve Buscemi was Spy Kids 2.
Oh.
So
my God, Steve
watching
Buscemi.
Spy Kids 2, I saw Steve Buscemi and was like, I know who that is, but I don't know why.
He
And
looks
obviously
like
now,
Randall as well. It's in the
does.
eyes.
Yeah.
Genuinely
Yeah.
does.
That's partly why I love Monsters University, because out of that whole film, Randall's my favourite. But then I watched this and I'm like, nah, hate him, trash, get in.
Yeah.
Don't even like you.
He creeped me out as a kid. Properly,
He's
man.
he's a
Like,
good
really bad.
villain.
Yeah.
He
I
really
was
is.
Rewatching it, I was able to detect the exact scene, and it's where Mike's running away, and then he's beside the picture of Waternoose, and that becomes Randall.
Yes.
And that was like, ah! Like that was proper like, creeped me out.
See? Spooky.
Spooky.
But yeah, who else we got this? We've got James Coburn, who plays Waternoose, and he's done loads of westerns and stuff. He's a bit of a classic actor.
Yeah.
I knew watching this now, I recognised the person who voiced Celia, and I couldn't put my finger on who it was. Do any of you know? Well, she's not that famous, but she
I
plays
can't remember.
Bonnie in Family Guy. So if any of you have seen Family Guy,
Oh, see now
Yeah,
that you've said it, I can hear it.
now.
Yeah.
Oh,
when I read it, I was like,
mad.
that
Oh, wow.
of course. Of course.
Please don't skip a main character. Don't skip the main character.
We're getting there.
Please don't skip.
In there.
Please don't skip.
So yeah, her name is Jennifer Tilly. John Ratzenberger. He's in. He's just all he does is Pixar, right? Surely.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
And then the one I'm pretty sure Amelia you're referring to is Master Yoda himself.
Hey!
Love
He's
it.
in this. Is that not?
I love it. Because he does doesn't he do the voice of what's the name?
He's called Fungus.
He is called Fungus. I think his first name's Jeff.
No, hang on, we're thinking of a different character.
Randall's assistant is Frank Oz. Yeah.
Is that Frank Oz?
That's Frank Oz. Yeah.
Is that who it is? I didn't think it was
Right,
him.
I'm thinking of someone else. Unless you've said the name, and I'm just having an utter moment here. I just must have zoned out.
Who are you thinking of?
Always watch.
Oh no.
Roz.
Roz.
She's called Roz. She's played by the story supervisor.
Yes.
Was he called something Peterson? Something
I think
like,
so.
I can't
John.
remember. John Peterson, something like that.
Could have been.
Legendary
Yeah, that
actor.
voice was only temporary, but it was good, so they kept it.
So good.
But yeah, there you go. That's some of the main characters in this.
Exciting.
Yeah, after that whole 2319 scene, we cut to the locker room, and some of almost every other sentence Mike says is a pun, and I love it. So he's thinking about taking Celia to a monster truck rally. Monster truck.
Good line. Good line.
And then he thinks that he's smelling a bit too good, so he asks for some odorant, not some deodorant. Odorant.
I didn't even notice that. I didn't even realise that he's
So
I
good.
swear this is your favourite film.
Oh, no.
As the pun guy, this is your film.
It's so good. But yeah, I missed out on all of those because when I was a kid, because you know what? Yeah, exactly. But anyway, we meet Boo. Shit kind of kicks off. They go to the sushi place, which is called. Anyone know what it's called?
I've
can't
so
for the
I've been
life
like
of
Right
me.
out my head.
observant
It's
to this watching
Hausen something, isn't it?
Harryhausen's.
Oh, is it? That's cool.
And based on your reaction, I think you know who Harryhausen might be.
Yeah.
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 Claymation.
Oh man.
That's
Yeah.
the one.
I never
man.
noticed that.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh, man,
That's
I need to
awesome.
like
That is awesome.
start watching these films like with more intensity. You know what I mean? Like I've missed all this.
That's
on.
why I
Yeah.
love Pixar films. Like even the ones that
Yeah.
they released today. Like I always go. I haven't seen Toy Story 4 yet. I didn't get a chance to see that. But like, there's so many things that just completely, as a kid, like we're finding here, they just go straight over your head. You don't care. It's just funny.
Yeah. Yep.
But as an adult, you're like, holy shit, they're
Yeah.
smart.
But yeah, so I'm as you're the actual film people. Does anyone want to take the explanation? Because all I've got down was major animated monster movie guy. It's not the most.
I mean,
like,
in a nutshell.
He was
sure.
Yeah.
Wasn't he? Was he 20,000 Leagues?
Yeah, Jason and the Argonauts.
He did like a bunch
Yeah.
of them, didn't he? Did
Yeah.
But see, the one because when I was younger, I always wanted to do like stop motion was the thing I wanted to do anyway. So I knew like all about. So the main thing that I always remembered him for was anyone ever seen the original Clash of the Titans?
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
that's the
one.
other one I'm thinking.
Yeah, it's his kind of it's his stop motion in that I always remember. I don't know what I don't think it's from that. There's a film where like these guys are like fighting this kind of like army of like skeleton people. I can't remember
Yeah,
what film it
I
was.
think
Do you know
that's
what?
Jason
And
and
it
the
looks-
Argonauts.
It's insane 'cause how good it looks. It's obviously stop motion, so it's a bit thingy anyway. But it kind of they blend together really well.
I feel like
think
that
it's
stuff
mad.
is what gives those films their personality. Like,
Yeah.
could you imagine, like, if they'd make like a Jason and the Argonauts film now?
Yeah.
I don't think anyone would really see it, and I don't think there would be
No.
anything
Well-
special to it, because we've seen like armies of CGI skeletons fight stuff a million and one times. There's nothing special
Well, see,
about it.
Did you ever watch the remake of Clash of the Titans? The one.
Yeah,
with
yeah.
I think I
See, that
did.
it wasn't as good because the people they weren't like.
Nothing stands
It was
out in
just
it.
CGI.
Yeah,
Yeah, it was
yeah.
just all CGI and all blended in with like the films, and it wasn't. It was meh. Whereas the other one, the older one, the original, it's like it's got all the stuff, and it's like you're watching it, and you know that it doesn't. You know, it's not looking real-ish. but it's still you're enjoying it because it's like that looks it looks good.
I
imagine having to do that.
I watched the original Jason when I was about. I probably would have been about 6 or 7. It was one of my grandma's favourite movies, and she really, really wanted to show it me. So she got a VHS, and we watched Jason and the Argonauts. And it stood out to me, and I've only seen it maybe once, maybe twice, and it stood out to me in lots of that movie I can recall and I can go back to and have fun with. And the way more recent Clash of the Titans, which was only about 8 or 9 years ago.
So
it
was really recent, blends into fucking nothing.
Yeah. I forget that it exists. Did you know there's a sequel to that film as well?
Yeah. There was.
Until last year. Because I thought it was
it's like no one... sorry, I completely interrupted you then.
No, I'm just saying, it's like, it blended. I didn't even realise there was a sequel. Just no idea.
Just another generic movie.
It just makes me sad that it's like Aardman, then we'll get back onto the thing. No one cares about Aardman animation films anymore, really.
It's a shame, isn't it? Yeah.
The new Shaun the Sheep movie's coming out. I don't know whether it's because they're not doing anything interesting at the minute. The new Shaun the Sheep movie's come out, and I'm just like, I watched the TV show, don't really care about this.
I think that's the problem, is because they're still resting on ideas from 30 years ago instead of trying to come up with new things. You know, that Wallace and Gromit animation that featured Shaun is fucking way old now. You know, I'm pretty sure before I was born. And I think another problem with it is that it's the branding of it is Farmageddon, a Shaun the Sheep movie. That's all it is. A Shaun the Sheep movie. Who fucking cares? Like Turbo, a Power Rangers movie. No one fucking cares. No one's going to see that.
Shaun the Sheep's still on? Because I remember it being on. But even when I was in high school, I would be still
watch it.
It was good.
It was genuinely funny.
It was funny.
It wasn't on at prime time. It was on at I don't know, midday or whatever when kids were at school.
I remember recording it to watch when I got back in from school. Because
it was
obviously missed it.
You know what I mean? Yeah, it was I used to watch it when I used to go around to my nan's and stuff, and it was but then when I'd see it in high school, and I'd be just flick through the TV in college or whatever, and it'd be on still, but it'd be prime time when no one was watching it. So for them to make a film now, I'm not entirely convinced all the kids are gonna know what it is. I mean, I don't know if it's
or even massively care, even if they do.
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly. I guess it's just a little bit harder these days for people to be groundbreaking, would you say?
Stuff that's 100%.
Groundbreaking is just... they look more realistic a little bit.
No, 100%.
Yeah.
People are very unwilling to rock the boat now. I think this is a problem.
Yeah, they'd rather play it safe than risk it. But then again, they still make trash. They still make losses
Do you know what?
the box office.
So I've watched this movie on I've watched Monsters Inc. on Now TV, and I was going through all the listings, and I saw Solo was on there, and I half contemplated watching Solo, and then I remembered that I have literally 1,000,001 things better to do with my life than watch that movie. But the listing for Solo literally said something like the ragtag nerf herder gets his own Star Wars Solo movie. Who directed Solo? What was his name?
Oh my god!
Ron Howard?
Ron Howard. Was it Ron Howard? Yeah. It was Ron Howard establishes himself as a safe pair of hands, taking over from former incumbents Lord and Miller. I was like, wow, what a fucking incredible selling point. Watch this safe, boring movie instead of what could have been a... that's the description on Now TV. Safe pair of hands. That's bizarre.
We were talking earlier on in the week about all the movies and TV shows and stuff that are all coming to Disney Plus, right?
Yeah.
And how...
Which is crazy.
It's absolutely crazy. And to begin with, you look at it and go, wow, this is incredible. But then again, you could just look at the catalogue of everything Disney have ever made and gone, yeah, wow, look at all those things that you could still watch.
There's also a lot of wank on there.
Exactly.
There's
a lot of just trash.
There's a lot of lab rats.
Putting it out there for anyone that wants to watch it. The Ichabod story, the animated one from the 40s, is very good still. Rewatched it the other night. Very spooky, very good. Just skip Mr. Toad. It's okay. I've got it on DVD. I'll
Fair enough. It's a bit concerning that we're beginning to get this very few really big companies that make everything, and they'd rather make stuff that's safe and fine and middle of the road rather than do something a bit different, all this claymation and
this
just
is the
interesting things.
I'm gonna try and get us back on track. Not that we weren't necessarily off it. With Monsters Inc., me and my partner were watching it, and we were like, what? Like, Pixar is still a good studio, but, like, it's not like this anymore. Why? Like, what's the identifiable difference? And I think the main difference is that when Pixar started, there was no such thing as 3D CG animated movies. They invented it. They literally invented it. It was groundbreaking. And now you have DreamWorks, you have Illumination, you have a whole ton of stuff. And Pixar might still be one of the best at it, but it's just another type of film. And I don't think there's the same energy and drive to be as groundbreaking anymore, because you've already reached the top. You know you're the best. Just keep coasting.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, it's like they released the Good Dinosaur. And you said it really weirdly then. The Good Dinosaur. Didn't even see that because people just said it was wank.
Nope.
Yeah.
So
But then they release things like Inside Out. Like, say, they have these moments where they go back to what they were good at,
Inside Out
which
is
is
incredible.
original stories.
It is, yeah.
I don't know. Sometimes I think something like The Good Dinosaur. Not to say it was rushed, because none of these kinds of films are rushed. Let's be honest.
Yeah.
But like, sometimes do think that like they just think, right, we need to churn out a movie instead of just going, right, what are we good at.
Like, it feels like Mr. Disney's walking around bashing on Pixar's door, like,
yeah,
what have you got for me this
where's
year?
our next
You know?
one? Yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
Mr. Disney.
But yeah, I reckon some of the limitations to what was possible definitely is what gives this movie a lot of its like charm and like what makes it so memorable. But yeah, back to Monsters Inc.
Back to Monsters Inc.
Trying to find a segue there, couldn't do it, so we're just gonna jump. Yeah, so they end up taking Boo from the sushi restaurant, which, interestingly enough, little Easter egg in the sushi restaurant to Nemo, which you must all be Pixar fans. In every film, they leave a little Easter eggs as to what the next film's going to be.
Yeah.
Yep.
So we've just met Easter egg 1 of 3 of Nemo, which was the next one.
Yeah.
Anyway, they get back to the
I
house.
forget Nemo's Pixar. I don't know why. It's so obviously Pixar, but I always forget that it is. I think it's Disney Studios or something. I'm like.
Kind of like Frozen. Frozen looks like it's Pixar, but it's not.
Yeah,
it's still
that's
Disney.
the one I
they've
was thinking,
blended
Frozen,
into one nearly, haven't they?
Yeah.
Nearly. But yeah, no more tangents.
Sorry, sir.
Yeah. they get her back to the apartment, they're trying to contain her, and eventually end up discovering, she laughed and the entire street lit up. That was weird. Subtle foreshadowing, but you know. But they don't know what to do. They say, we'll just put her back through the door, it's fine. So they try and go back to Monsters Inc. And on the way, they're talking about how all these other monsters that are rumoured to exist in our world were the ones that came from their world that have been banished into ours. Loch Ness Monster, Bigfoot, Abominable
I
Snowman.
love that.
Again, I missed that the first time around, 'cause it's just kind of throwaway while they're walking, but pick up on it. And I was like, I like that.
So good.
But yeah, you see that the CDA are there, the Child Detection Agency, they're just doing all their stuff. And Randall's looking a bit shifty, don't know what's going on with him. And then, honestly, the next thing I've got written down is a really intense rubbish disposal scene. Because Boo gets thrown away in the trash because there's a little bit of cat and mouse chasing her.
Great scenes.
I got some major Wall-E vibes from that. At the end, he's there with his cube of garbage. I'm like...
Oh, the cute, yeah.
Is that her?
They were thinking of
Is
it.
Wall-E Pixar as well?
Wall-E
is Pixar.
Is it? Yeah. Cause
Pete Doctorow is actually a writer on Wall-E.
Is it?
Wall-E's a good film. That
Yeah,
needs
it's
to, that,
good.
need,
It's got
that
John
film
Goodman as
needs
well.
to make
Wait,
a
no, it's not got
comeback.
John Goodman, is it? No, no, forget. Ignore me.
I'm sure
I thought it had
not
John
what his
Goodman.
name
It's
is.
not, is it? No, it's not. No, never mind.
But
Or is it?
yeah, I was getting
No, it's
some,
not.
but
Yeah.
quite. I wasn't sure if that was where that came from or just a happy coincidence. I'm going to go with just coincidence.
Maybe.
But yeah, and while we see that Boo's been taken down to this machine, we see the Kylie Jenner machine, as I like to call it.
That scene scarred me for life. Utterly scarred
It's
me.
frightening, isn't it?
It's
Very
the
frightening.
idea of something sucking your face
It's
off.
like 20 foot coming down from the ceiling.
Yeah.
It was the most imposing thing I'd ever seen as like a 6-year-old.
Oh,
that
yeah.
don't even want to think about it.
So that's pretty terrifying. But then Boo, obviously, that doesn't happen. And they try and dob Randall in. They try to go to Waternoose and they're like, hey, look, this guy's been a bit shifty. But it turns out Waternoose was in it all along.
Do you know what? I love that scene so much because because it's like you've got so much going on in the scene. Like they make Sully like do the scare simulation. Boo gets frightened of him. He gets to see himself from like the child's perspective. He's kind of horrified. But then in the background, Mike's explaining everything to Waternoose, and he's listening. And I remember watching it and going, holy shit, like this is the first time when like there's this catastrophe, but the character that can solve it is actually listening to the main character. Incredible. Just so that you can betray him.
Yeah,
brilliant. Love it.
Yeah.
So they get banished and they take Boo, and they're still going to try and keep the machine going. Actually, it wasn't Boo who got captured at that point, was it? It was Mike who was on the machine.
Yeah.
Boo happens later on. She happens after this point.
Yeah.
That's right.
When they
a little
get
bit
banished,
confused, but
is that where they see the Yeti?
That is.
Welcome to the Himalayas. Yeah,
I love that bit, I love that bit so much.
You can get his snow cones in California now. Not even joking. I need to try 11 snow cones.
Where does he get the yellow snow cones from?
Wow.
Oh, no.
Well, he says, Mike looks at it and goes, that's weird, it's yellow snow. But without saying, oh, look, it's yellow snow, he goes, oh, no, it's lemon. And you're like, how have you managed that?
No one's interested.
Oh, well.
It was so rank.
Right, I've got it, yellow snow joke written down. I've picked up
Just yellow snow joke.
But yeah, the fact, I absolutely love this next scene where Sully decides to abandon Mike, his like lifelong friend, to go back and rescue this little
incredible
girl.
It's like
honestly heart-wrenching.
Yeah,
absolutely.
It's like Mike calms down, he stops shouting at him, and he's like, what about me? What about Celia? Like, come on, think straight. And then when he turns away and Sully actually goes, he's like heartbroken. He's like, oh my god, he actually went. What?
I feel like they would be too scared to do something like that nowadays.
Yeah.
Probably.
It's too much of a dip to then bring audiences back. I think people would be too scared these days.
And again, the emotional payoff at the end is pretty good.
It's very good.
Exactly.
So
and
more roller coasters, please.
The scene where Sully is going down the slopes to try and get back to the village to get through a door. That's the bit where I realised that lighting was the issue, not the models, because you've got that little lantern in front, and it looks like it might as well just be a movie from nowadays. Like it's really pretty.
But yeah, so he makes it back into the monster universe, and they try and free Boo, or he does free Boo. Last minute, breaks the machine, launches at Adam, and thankfully Mike made it back at record time.
Somehow.
He just does. He probably like tucked his arms and legs and just rolled down the hill.
Pretended to be a snowman.
Makes it back, and he ends up saving Sully from being completely choked out by Randall.
Yeah.
Honestly,
pretty intense.
Slightly morbid, because the whole point was, there can be no witnesses, you've got to kill whoever sees this.
Yeah.
They never actually use those words, but that's definitely the implication. And
they're definitely hinting at it.
I love that they hinted it, but never quite explicitly say it to try and avoid it. Brilliant. And they try and get her back to hers before the door. They get stuck on the door, go up, and they go into the door warehouse. I absolutely fucking love this.
Incredible, isn't it?
So good. It was the sort of thing where, as a kid, I'd have a dream about it, wake up and go, fuck, that was, brilliant. Love
this.
That.
This
the
is
idea
the
of
problem
just
with
being
modern
the one
Pixar.
swinging from the doors.
The problem with modern Pixar is the lack of conveyor belt chase scenes. Toy Story 2, conveyor belt chase scene. Monsters Inc., conveyor belt chase scene. Where are all the conveyor belt chase scenes?
They work.
There's one in like Toy Story 3 as well. That bit where they're going into the big thing and they're like going down. And it looks like, what does he do? He says, doesn't he? Because they climb, like Lotso or whatever climbs up first, doesn't he? He's like, nah. Send the bad guy up first. Like, yeah, good idea. What?
Yeah.
It's on them now. I'm saying. It's on them.
Yeah, we have this door bit, which apparently was also one of the hardest scenes to animate, because
I'm not surprised.
So much
thousands
going
of
on.
doors.
Yeah.
So much. But they eventually get her door. Rand does a great chase where they go through a door into the human world, back through another door, because all the doors are active, because Boo was having a bit of a chuckle. Also, I found myself like giggling at some of the dumb shit Mike did to get her to laugh. I was like, that's just
The somersault onto the bollock. Really funny.
Brilliant. But yeah, they end up chucking Randall through a door and then smashing the door, so he's gone forever.
Couldn't he just go find another door though, or do the doors need to be? Well, I mean, I guess the doors need to be active, but like,
so he has to be in the right place at the right time.
He doesn't escape that redneck family, right?
Well, yeah, true. Yeah.
Implied, like, they get a shovel, but they probably also have a gun somewhere. Like, he does not escape. He's mounted in their caravan. Like,
that trailer, interestingly enough, we've seen that trailer before in a different Pixar movie.
Bugs Life.
Yeah.
Bugs Life, exactly. And it's the Pizza Planet truck, same as Bugs Life. It's just in the same place.
I noticed the T-shirt as well.
Big up, you know.
Oh yeah.
So that's where we see the Pizza Planet truck in this movie. Interestingly, though, or disappointingly, A113 not seen at all in this.
I was just about to say, where is it?
People have scoured it and they've not found it. So
do you reckon
the closest someone has is A13, but that's not quite the same.
Not the same.
I'm pretty sure, apparently, when they're launching Randall through the door, you see another Nemo through there, which is the second one. I missed it, but it's there, apparently.
I didn't see it.
Isn't the Nutso ball in Thingy's room as well?
I was going to say the ball. Isn't there a Jessie in there as well? Doesn't she have a Jessie?
And there's a Jessie
doll? Yeah, that's...
And there's a little Nemo.
They're so good for Easter eggs.
I
don't know how many times I've watched a Pixar Easter egg video. But even if I've seen... Like, I know where they all are, but like you forget where they are because there's that many.
The great bit is that it's they do Easter eggs for the sake of money saving. Because it's an excuse to use the same 3D models they've got in the archive.
Brilliant. The fact that because they use Easter eggs so frequently and so well and not super blatant, loads of people end up like creating these incredible Pixar theories. Which,
oh yeah.
You know what? I actually hate that shit.
I was going to say
it's never going to pay off. Stop.
No.
Are you going to say
we're never going to get a Pixar Avengers? Like, stop.
No, imagine if
Kingdom
he
Hearts.
did though.
Kingdom
like,
Hearts.
Just to kind of like...
Kingdom Hearts.
There you go.
What is the Boo theory? I can't remember what it is.
The theory with Boo is that she is the old witch in Brave.
Oh,
that's it.
She has a drawing of
really?
Sully in the background.
I thought
and a Pizza Planet truck carved out of wood.
I thought that there was a theory that she was the girl from Toy Story 3.
And she's that girl.
Right.
Yeah, isn't she like in loads of them or something?
It's one
for
of
some reason why she ends up time traveling. I can't remember what it is.
Yeah, it's from something, isn't it? Something she time travels back, doesn't it? I can't remember what it is. Because
there's some reason why she does.
Because Cars is Pixar as well, isn't it?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and the other thing that they're trying to suggest is that Monsters Inc. isn't in a different universe, it's just way off in the future.
Yeah.
And the doors are just portals back in time rather
Isn't
than
that where
the
time travel thing comes in? Because that's way in the future she uses a door to go back.
It's one of those things, isn't it? It's like when people say that all of Tim Burton's films are linked and that Jack Skellington is actually the dude from Corpse Bride, actually dead, and his dog is... No! People have the tropes that they like in their films.
Do you know what they sound like? Have we all seen Parks and Recreation?
Yes.
I've seen not all of it, but
sound like Patton Oswalt's character going, and so Thanos steps through with the reality gem, and that's our link from the Star Wars universe to the Marvel universe. And like,
it's because you got all these like think. What's the other one? Isn't like all the Tarantino? I mean, he said, hasn't he, that all
the Tarantino one's legit. Yeah.
But then it's still even for him to say that though, I get the feeling when he says that he's only said it because he only said it like later on, didn't he? Because I mean, there's the
he came up with such a bulletproof excuse, which was that some of them are in the same universe, and the ones that don't make sense to be in the same universe are movies within that universe.
Yeah, like isn't Inglourious Basterds one of them ones or something? And
have
it's
you guys heard? Sorry.
No, I was just gonna say there's the main like link, which is it's fair enough, isn't it? That like John Travolta's character's brothers with Thingy in Reservoir Dogs, isn't he? I forgot his name. The guy who cuts off the guy's ear in Reservoir Dogs.
Mr.
He's
Pink.
brothers with Possibly.
Is it Mr. Pink?
I
Mr.
think
Orange?
that's right.
I was going to say
Is it
Mr. Pink,
Mr.
and I've
Orange?
not ever seen the film, so I think it might be.
We know which guy it's
Yeah.
on about. They're both...
Yeah.
Either way, them two are like brothers, and like... I feel like... Because I don't know if... That's the only thing where it actually, like... It's actually in the film, you know what I mean? Like, there's all the obvious links. Whereas when it's come after it, everyone's like, oh, they're all set in the same universe. And I feel like he's just been like, oh, that would be interesting. Yeah, they're all set in the same universe. Yeah, good idea, yeah. Go watch them again. Go watch them again.
During interviews where like the director will decide, okay, yeah, sure,
Yeah.
go on.
Yeah.
As I'm pretty sure
It's
that's
like
what happens with
J.K.
the
Rowling, isn't
Russos. You know how so many people tweet
Yeah.
and ask them stuff about, so how does this happen? And they just go, yeah,
Yeah.
sure. They just
It's
come up
like,
with it on the spot. They come up with it.
It's like there's a guy in the games industry that's notorious for this, Peter Molyneux, who developed Fable, directed Fable. He's become notorious because like an interviewer will say, "Oh, is this sort of thing in the game?" And he'll be like, "Yeah," and it's fucking not, and the game's out in 2 weeks, and all the studio go, "Peter, why did you promise this?"
Brilliant.
Amazing.
Yeah, Pete Docter actually during an interview. There's a YouTube channel called Super Carlin Bros, which I'm sure they're one of the ones who put out loads of these different Pixar theories and stuff. And one of them got a chance to interview him when Inside Out came out, and they asked him, would the kid from Inside Out, whose name is
Riley,
does she have a monster? And he was like, yeah, probably. Like, he just kind of shrugs it off. But then obviously that set everyone who watched it off into a spin about
Is it the
connected.
same?
Oh my god. They're just Easter eggs. They're just Easter eggs.
It just makes
Why?
films fun, doesn't it? It's like, have you had the massive Disney one? I won't get into debt. Where it's the
I've actually
frozen
not heard
parents go off on a journey and they
Oh,
die
Tarzan.
obviously in the
Honestly,
thing,
yeah.
and it's
Yeah.
actually Tarzan's parents, means that Tarzan is actually their long lost brother, but then that shipwreck is actually in Little Mermaid, and that is the shipwreck that she goes and explores. It's like,
Yeah, I've heard that one actually, yeah.
chill.
Isn't it based on like a single bit though? Isn't it like a bit like in Frozen or something? No.
Rapunzel
Oh, is it
shows
Tangled?
up, and that's sort of
That's it,
the
yeah. Yeah, she's just in the background, and it's like
Yeah.
that's the only thing.
Again,
It's like,
reusing assets for a nice
Yeah,
Easter egg.
literally.
That's all it is.
But then again, I do sort of want to see a movie with like Frozen and Tangled though. I think. Could you imagine if they made that?
That would be
People
hella
would
cute.
lose their shit.
Yeah.
It would be
That's all
crazy.
Easter eggs are, though. It's fan service.
exactly.
I mean,
That's literally
at a certain point, they've got to stop making live action movies and direct to VHS movies, but in the cinema, which I assume is what Frozen 2 is going to be.
yeah.
And just start doing crossovers. That's the last feasible thing. It's gonna
I mean,
happen.
it worked so well in Wreck-It Ralph 2, where they were all together and just chilling. So, like, why
Yeah.
wouldn't they?
That was probably a litmus test when you think about it. Like,
Maybe.
let's chuck this idea, see how
Avengers,
it plays.
but without it really being like the Disney Princess Avengers.
Yeah.
I mean, as long as Nightmare Before Christmas 2 doesn't happen, because that keeps on popping up on Twitter every now and again. As long as that doesn't happen, Disney
Yeah.
do what they want. Well, to a point.
Yeah, we see all the Easter eggs in her room of the third Nemo Easter egg. Just before that, they managed to frame Waternoose in the simulating bedroom, which
Oh yeah, yes.
took me ages to work out what happened there. First time watching, I was like, alright, they're in Boo's room, they're in... Wait, the wall that... What?
Yeah, it's weird, isn't it? Yeah.
It's well
But
done.
when you watch
See,
it
there's
this
a-
time round, it's like, the light's not on, nah, you're fine, you're not...
Yeah.
Okay. And yeah, it's on the way out that Mike mentions, hey, at least we had a few laughs, and you're like, oh, try the laugh thing. And of course, they go with laughing, so it becomes the laugh floor, not the scare floor. And something I noticed when I was rewatching it this time, the size of those canisters they have next to the door, way bigger than the Scream ones.
Huge.
Which I think is
yeah.
quite nice,
Yeah.
rather than just they fill up more canisters. So rather than having to animate more canisters, just make the canister bigger.
Yeah.
Genius.
Extrude.
And then Mike rebuilds the door. He's got loads of splinters and stuff on his hands. And he re-sees Boo. And that's the end of the movie.
I have a
But-
quick hidden thing before you carry on.
Go.
Apparently, there's a movie mistake where when he's showing Sully into the room, he doesn't have plasters on his hands, yet when he goes like that, he has plasters on his hands. Dun, dun, dun.
There was more than one that I spotted. You know the guy who puts all the eyes on his face?
Yeah.
He's walking onto the scare floor with no eyes, and then he runs up by his door and he's got 3, and then he goes to put his eyes in and he hasn't got any again.
Mistakes.
Oh well. Yeah, and one thing that surprised me, I did the same as you, Sam. I watched it on Now TV, streaming it.
Yeah.
There weren't any outtakes during the credits.
Bloopers aren't there on the Now TV version.
They're the best bit.
They're
Absolutely
amazing,
gutted, because there was so like one of my most memorable ones is when they're walking to work and there's that giant like chicken dinosaur monster.
And it's Rex.
And it's Rex from Toy Story. It's like, I see what you did there.
Oh yeah. Oh my god, I remember that actually. Yeah. So I watched it on TV as well. I completely forgot those outtakes.
Yeah, and there was one where they do the whole little musical too. Like they actually turn.
Yeah.
She's
out of my.
Oh my god.
I love it. Totally, I was gutted.
That's a sin. That is not allowed.
But the song that they're singing, that John Goodman and Billy Crystal are singing, is just like a slightly slower version of the song from the start.
Yeah.
Which is quite nice. It's like it's still all the same thing. It's the same melodies.
Holy shit!
Yeah.
I'm just going through it in my head like. That is sick.
So yeah, and it was Randy Newman doing all the music for this, who of course did Toy Story, You Got a Friend in Me and all that.
Oh wow.
And Randy Newman finally won an Oscar for this movie.
Oh, did he actually?
For the song. It was...
That's awesome.
I think it was Best Song, or Best Original Song, or something.
Oh, wow,
and he was, after 16 nominations, he finally won. Which is nice that he got one. Because I'm surprised he didn't get one for Toy Story.
He's like the original Leo.
You'd think, yeah. Yeah, he won't, yeah.
What?
Must be.
But yeah, we have the music. What else have we got written down? Because I was sure there were going to be outtakes. Not I'm sure there was going to be bloopers. But there wasn't. I waited right till the end. And you know how they always have no animals were harmed in the making of this movie?
Yeah.
Bottom line on the credits, no monsters were harmed in the making of this movie.
Cute.
It's nice.
Nice.
But yeah, that's like the basic plot of Monsters Inc. And there was a couple of other interesting casting bits that happened for this. So there were a couple of other actors who were considered.
Robin Williams. But they only asked him to do it to get John Goodman to do it?
Not quite. But someone who we have talked about before, I think. Maybe? Bill Murray.
I thought you were being serious. I was about to say oh man, this technique that they keep using needs to stop.
Damn you,
I'm glad
Hollywood.
that it's not an actual technique.
No,
man.
And thankfully they didn't do it this time, but Bill Murray was considered and tested to be Sully.
Oh wow.
But never got back, so they went with Goodman instead. And I'm not sure how true this is, but apparently Patrick Stewart was considered to be Waternoose.
Really?
Which
that would have been good.
Would have been good, wouldn't it?
Very similar vibe. I don't think much would have changed.
No, neither. Although I imagine it would be more funny when Waternoose gets angry hearing Patrick Stewart.
Yeah.
I can't imagine him ever just raising his voice.
Watch Star Trek Nemesis, man. He gets angry in that. I'm pretty sure it's Nemesis. He smashes a glass cabinet.
Ooh.
Yeah. I've seen that actually, yeah.
But yeah, one of the most interesting bits of trivia I read about this, and it was bugging me for ages. Sully's armchair, you know, the one they used to make the little monster suit for Boo.
Yes.
Has a little hole in the back of it, and I was like...
For his tail.
I never realised that until I read it, and I was like, oh my god.
I didn't realise that, no.
Amazing.
Oh, man.
But yeah, we were talking earlier about other animation studios, and something that's interesting is this was at the Academy Awards. They created this category for Best Animated Film, which of course Monsters Inc. was nominated for, but it didn't win. And if you know, stay quiet. But what do you think won Best Animated Film
in
instead
2001?
Of this?
I'm trying to think what was out in 2001.
Once you have an idea,
can you give me the studio?
I can't.
Was it?
I know what it is.
I think
but
maybe. I
Was
think
it
maybe I know.
Final Fantasy Spirits Within.
Was it Shrek?
Shrek.
Yes, it was Shrek.
Was Shrek?
Oh no!
It was Shrek.
Oh wow!
Thought so.
Beat Monsters Inc. being best animated
What on
film.
earth?
That's well funny.
It is.
Man.
Shrek is
because,
great.
Because Shrek and DreamWorks Animations in particular was all started by Katzinger specifically to spite Disney.
Crazy, isn't it?
Like, for the longest time I thought Shrek was Disney because there were all those copyright-free characters they had in there.
Yeah.
Pinocchio and all the fairy tale ones.
Yeah.
I was like, how is this not a Disney film? But no, Shrek beat off. No.
What?
No.
Hey!
It didn't.
Shrek.
No.
That's not the film I want to see.
Definitely not. No, Shrek beat Monsters Inc. to being best animated film of 2001. It also beat it being the at the Kids' Choice Awards best voice actor.
Way.
So there you go. That's a bit unfortunate because Shrek's pretty good. It's an absolute classic. But
It's fun.
This is a
but
better movie.
I feel
yeah,
like
Monsters Inc. has
is
more thought to it and like
Yeah.
probably better.
Can we say class? I don't know.
I've got a list of fun trivia facts.
Yeah, go on, give them to us.
Jacob's Trivia Corner!
I mean, you say that I've kind of been sprinkling them in as I go, so like the last one I have, I've got one more.
Oh, there's one.
So it's very anticlimactic. I feel kind of disappointed that you give me some theme music there. But hey, the last one I have is that there's going to be a Monsters Inc. web series in 2020 on Disney Plus,
There is.
which I didn't know, called
I didn't know
Monsters
that,
at
no.
Work. So there you go.
Is it like The Office but Monsters Inc? I want it to be like The Office.
That would be
Yes.
amazing.
Yes, I would love to see that.
That's what I imagine it'd be. That'd be amazing. Oh man.
Yeah, like Creature Comforts almost, where they're just like
Oh,
interviews
man,
that are
yeah.
really shit and like
Oh, it was so good.
that has to happen.
Are y'all ready for me to make Monsters Inc. potentially really horrifying? It is spooky season after all.
Go on.
Go on.
Okay,
Right.
yeah.
So we're talking about Pixar theories. He's a fucking Pixar theory. Monsters
Oh,
Inc.
God.
theory, motherfucker.
Oh.
Strap yourself in.
Don't like the way
Says
you
your
started.
granddaddy's Pixar theory.
So Waternoose early on in the movie says that like Sullivan's he's getting him. He's like, "You'll fix the company, sir. We believe in you." And he's like, "Tell that to the board of directors." A board of directors insinuates that there's like some sort of shareholders and investors, which means that Monsters Inc., much like our society, is also a capitalist society. And a board of directors also insinuates that much like the hierarchy of Disney, someone might split off at some point and start trying to make a competitive brand. Laughs might be a lot more powerful than screams, which is really, really good. But it is the idea in this movie that it is good and all fine to monetize children's happiness, but not to monetize children's fear. That's something we can say is a better thing to do than the other one, but it's still a bit questionable whether or not we should be monetizing the pure joy of a child. That fucking Scream extractor, don't tell me that a competing company, in order to lower prices of energy output all that out in the world and to compete with Monsters Inc., that thing would come back, but they would pump the children with laughing gas until they die.
Oh no. Oh my god.
Well,
That would happen.
Oh mate.
Well, thanks for that, Sam.
next time,
Horror
folks.
movie.
Well,
Cheers.
I don't think I'm gonna watch that film again.
No, neither.
It's not the same way. Jesus Christ.
No.
Oh man.
To be fair, when I was first watching it, there was like several. I was like, oh, okay, so this is just the one. Because when they say, oh, right, this like, oh, the Eastern Seaboard's now online, and you go, oh, is that just this factory then, which is located on the Eastern Seaboard of whatever their planet's called, probably just Earth, if you're basing the theory on whatever bullshit I mentioned earlier. But like, does that mean there are more than one Monsters Inc. factories, or more than like
Probably.
competing ones? Like, but yet they have access to all these doors all around the world. Is that just them who use doors to make energy? I mean, hopefully, potentially, they also just have fossil fuels and shit.
I think at the movie, it's only Monsters Inc. They might have other factories, but it's only them, which is why there's a Scream shortage in the first place. Unless they have like a monopoly on certain states, like internet service providers do in America. Like certain companies only provide to like one particular state, so there's no way you can buy a better service. It might still be like that. But
yeah, that's questions for
like
some Pixar theorizing.
It could be like a brand or something,
bullshit.
you know, like.
I mean, maybe.
That's quite cool.
But
I went to like say something then, but then I had a drink and I was like, "You've just fucked it, so it's fine."
Amazing.
well, now that I've sufficiently terrified everyone at the concept of the children's
movie. We had
movie,
to bring it back to being spooky, didn't we?
yes,
So,
Well, exactly.
Spooky
It's
season.
October.
spooky season.
We're going to come to one of our final segments of the show, is where we're going to go via one by one in a circle and give any final thoughts about Monsters, Inc. And then we're each going to give it a score out of 10. And then I'm going to use maths to give us an overall score out of 100 and see where it ranks on the objective best to worst films of all time. Amelia, start us off.
Okay, so like I say, I hadn't watched this film for a long time. It's one that I loved as a child, but also scarred me to death. But it's great. A kid came into the store today with a Sully toy, and I was like, it's a reminder. like it's so loved still today, and I think that just shows how great of a studio Pixar are in their writing department, their creative department. They're just amazing. And before I give my score, just a quick shout out to anyone who goes to Disneyland at any point in both Florida and California. The Monsters, Inc. Laugh Floor attraction is one of the best rides I've ever been on. It's literally an improv show where they take the piss out of audience members. It's amazing. I wish we could all do it because it's hilarious. So I'm giving this film and the legacy it has given us an 8.
8. Fantastic. Jacob.
So, similar reason to Amelia. Absolutely loved it. Loved it as a kid. But it's not my favourite Pixar movie. And so if we have it, when we get around to watching other Pixar movies, I want there to be room for me to put my more favourable Pixar movies above it.
Sure.
Because I've got to.
No, good point. I agree, actually.
So, based on that alone, while it is brilliant and it was groundbreaking at the time, and this classic Pixar being making you super fucking sad, and then the payoff at the end's fantastic. Because I have more favourite, yeah, whatever, fuck it. Pixar movies, I'm going to say the same, an 8.
8. Joe.
See, actually, Amelia, you stole my what I was gonna say.
Did you gonna say it? See, I knew you were gonna say it, so I wanted to get it first.
Because it's like a weird, it's like a weird sequel, isn't it? So it's set after the film.
It's so good.
Because it's when you're waiting in the line, it's all about how they've discovered. Isn't a pre-show video or something where he's like, we've discovered laughter's better or whatever, so we're gonna use you guys or something like that. So it's a weird sequel, which is weird because we got the prequel and we got it's good though. I enjoyed it when I went. Also the film. I love it. It's really good. It is probably one of the first few Pixar films that I watched. It probably wasn't the first, but it could have been the first. I honestly don't know. But it's one of those ones that I have really early memories of, and I remember having it on video and stuff like that. So I'm probably gonna give it an 8 as well. 8.
Amazing. I can only echo everyone's thoughts. It's really, really well animated. It's really, really well written. The stuff in there were like interactions between Sully and Boo, when they're playing hide and seek and stuff. That is really, really touching. If I was ever half the dad that Sully is to Boo, job well done.
You will be.
There's some really, really funny lines in it. I really like at the end when Mike's in the kid's room trying to make him laugh and he's trying to do stand-up. The line that gets me every time is I love sports. Football, I used to love football. I was the fastest one on the field. Of course, I was the ball.
So good. Fantastic.
Great joke. It's genuinely funny. It's really exciting. Every emotion that I felt watching this movie as a child, I felt it again. But it wasn't even in the form of nostalgia. It was just being able to be taken away on this fun journey. Yeah, it's fantastic, and it is one of the. In my opinion, it's one of the strongest Pixar movies ever. Score. I think I'll match everyone. We'll give it 8 across the board.
Nice.
In which case, I don't think you even have to do maths for this one.
I do.
I do. I was going to say,
I'm
dyslexic, so I'm like...
I'm going to take a stab and say it's an 80 out of 100.
It's an 80 out of 100. Jacob's
wow.
correct.
Ding, ding, ding.
this presents us with a predicament, ladies and gentlemen, because last week's movie also scored 80 out of 100.
Oh my god.
So,
did we all give it 8 last week as well? Like,
no, it
give it like a
was
7
very
and like
last
a...
week.
All right.
So, I want to ask everyone, Beetlejuice or Monsters, Inc.? Amelia, take a vote.
Holy shit, this came out of nowhere. You've really stumped me. They're so different.
They're very different, yeah.
I like both of them in such different ways. But I think because of how much Monsters, Inc. did for the industry and how much it really boosted, like we've said before, technology, I think to me that is more of a groundbreaking film, whereas Beetlejuice is just a fun time, so I'm going to have to go with Monsters, Inc.
Jacob, Beetlejuice or Monsters, Inc.?
I'm going to have to go with Monsters, Inc. as well. Mainly because when I watched Beetlejuice, that was the first time I watched it. Didn't know what I was getting myself into. It was great, it was fun, but purely because I was able to watch Monsters, Inc. when I was younger, and as you said, Sam, you watch it, and yeah, it's a little bit of nostalgia, but also it's a little bit of... It's tied into your memories, and it's more... Story-wise, it's more wholesome, I feel. And Beetlejuice is just sort of a... Wouldn't it be weird if you had to scare people out your house? But yeah, so for that reason, yeah, I'm going to go Monsters, Inc. as well.
Excellent. Joe?
I'm going to say Monsters, Inc. as well. I mean, which does mean now, actually, that it's it wins because...
Yeah.
3 out of... anyway, but, like, mine's the kind of same reason as Jacob's, like... I used to watch it when I was younger. I saw Beetlejuice all the way through for the first time, like, last week. So, and they're both really good films, but yeah, no, for me, it's Monsters, Inc. It's like childhood film, so yeah, Monsters, Inc.
Okay, well then, that officially makes Monsters, Inc. the second greatest movie
Well done.
of all time.
Good choice, Jacob.
Fantastic.
Well done.
What would you have voted,
like
Sam?
every week.
Beetlejuice or
What would I
Monsters,
vote?
Inc.?
I would have voted, yeah, it would have been got a clean sweep.
Yeah. It makes
yeah.
sense, yeah.
So, that brings us to the most important part of the show, which is finding out what we're going to watch next week. You had to us earlier, you didn't even know what it was going to be. Do you now know?
So, I had the 2 films I've been deciding between him for ages, and then I thought of another one.
Oh.
And I was like, that would be really good to take over. But right, no, I have decided, because at the end of the day, right, even if we don't do the other 2, I can just choose them next time. So anyway, so for next week, we're going to be watching The Shining.
The Shining.
Ooh.
I was gonna make a joke about how I'm actually on about the 1970s, the 90s one instead.
2 days ago because I'm watching loads of spooky movies throughout throughout October. I bought this, Joe. I've got
film.
Sleepy Hollow. I watched Halloween the other night. So yes, this fits in my week 100%. Happy.
But yeah,
And
no,
It might be a little bit
it is the
excited.
80s one.
Sorry.
Maybe just a
Yeah.
bit.
So if anyone wants to borrow it, you're more than welcome to borrow it.
Okay then. So, thanks for watching Monsters, Inc. Let us know what you think of the movie in the comments below. Give us a like, give us a subscribe, and join us next week for The Shinin'. And watch along with us, of course, as well.
Love it.
See you next time.
Bye.
Ah.
I need to scream.